Hey, welcome back. In this video, I am installing a Powerhouse Racing oil filter relocation kit on the Supra. So I'm pretty excited about this. I won't say struggled, but always kind of been annoyed trying to do the oil filters on the Supra because of the placement of it. So I'm gonna see if I can get this for you. So you should be able to see, I got this light pointed right there. You can see the oil filter, which is kind of squeezed in under the intake manifold and back between everything. It's kind of a pain to get to, honestly. Usually end up scratching your arm up trying to squeeze your hand in there and get it off. Anyways, so I finally got this Powerhouse Racing kit. So it will relocate the oil filter down towards the bell housing of the transmission. I've had the kit for a little bit. I just haven't gotten to putting it in yet. So looking forward to this. It is easy to do. You know, in theory, it should be pretty straightforward. So I'll open this box up and we'll go through the parts together. All right, so we'll get this open. If you're not familiar with Powerhouse Racing, they make a lot of different stuff, but I know them specifically for 2J stuff. So Supra turbo kits, oil filter relocations, all sorts of stuff. So they make really good products, good quality stuff. I have a bunch of friends that are running a bunch of their different products, so it's a box within a box. Obviously, I haven't opened this yet. Cool. So here's the bracket that I would assume this bracket goes to the mounting spot for the new oil filter location. This is the adapter that goes to the block where the oil filter housing is. So they have two different kit versions of this kit. It's super nice looking. There's a logo on there too. There's two versions of this kit. One that uses the factory oil cooler and one that you basically are using an aftermarket one. This is just the factory oil cooler option. And then this is the new housing. I'll double check all this stuff, but super nice finish. Got an O-ring in there too. So it's in and out on each one. This is also kind of, it's nice because I don't need the functionality right now, but there's fittings that are in here, if you can see those, that are 8th NPT, so later down the road when I want to run a oil pressure sensor, you'll be able to like thread that in there and get it going. And there's some screws and some fittings for the lines, and some pre-made lines that are made for this kit to fit into the location. So pretty nice. Overall, should be, I mean, pretty straightforward, but you know, we'll find out. I just got done doing the oil change. I figured you guys probably don't need to see that. But if you don't know this trick, you use a bag like so, and you put it around your oil filter to twist it off to catch. There's a bunch of oil that comes out, obviously, with taking the oil filter off. It sucks with this specifically because if you don't do that, all of that oil drops straight out onto your subframe and just splatters everywhere. So on top of it kind of being a pain to get to, you have to keep that in mind. So when you can do this bag trick well, it saves you a lot of cleanup. So just put it on there, you know, break it loose or whatever you need to do first. Put the bag over there, loosen it up, drop it into here. I mean, you probably won't be able to see, but there's a ton of oil in here that like would have gone all over the place. So just a good trick for you. I figured I'd tell you guys. But now that that's out, I'm going to start putting the sandwich plate and all that stuff on the engine and get everything routed. I'm considering kind of doing as much of it out of the engine bay as possible, just because it's a tight space to work in. I think that they recommend doing this with intake manifold off and all that stuff, but try not to do that because that's a lot of work to pull apart. It's easy, I mean, if you have everything taken apart for like a build or anything like that you're working on, but with this, just trying to basically do it easily during an oil change. So I'll try to get some stuff taken care of outside of the car, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. All right, so looking at this kit, this goes down by the bell housing. This bracket plugs in, bolts up obviously, and then these slots line up with these 4 tapped holes. There's 4 bolts in this bag that correlate with these 4 holes. And then this is our sandwich plate. Sandwich plate goes onto the block, as you'd expect. There are, hopefully this shows up, in and out engravings on here. So when you do this, one of your hoses obviously goes into in, it will go into the out, and vice versa. So into out, if that makes sense. That way that it flows the way that it's supposed to flow. Rather than doing like in, out, make sure you go into, out. And then obviously these hoses have their own fittings on there, and these fittings will go into our plates. These are billet aluminum pieces, so we will they're super nice pieces, so we will get everything fitted up and do as much as we can here outside of the engine bay as we can. Obviously this stuff can do the plate, and the actual housing we can do on the car. There's much more space down there, but we'll do our fitting, our sandwich plate on the block, and then these as much as we can do outside of the engine bay. So yeah. So as you can see, we got that sandwich plate in. I know it's not the best angle, but you can see it here. On the thread closest to us, that's the in, and on the side further away, that's the out. So something to keep in mind for when you do this. It's kind of hard to see the markings when it's installed, but I was able to get under the car and be able to see which one was which. So now we just need to add our hoses, route everything down. It was kind of a pain to get in there and get everything seated properly. I mean, it's the whole reason we're doing this. So it's inevitable. But I'm gonna get these AN hoses on, and then we'll get underneath the car and I'll show you the bracket and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna squeeze in there and try to get these hoses on pretty quick. So wish me luck. All right, so I'm under the car now. This is gonna probably be a little disorienting, but hopefully I can make it as clear as possible. This is bell housing. Here we have our lines coming back. This hose is our in hose. That needs to go to our out on our new housing. And this is our out from that section, so that'll have to go to the in housing. The bolts that we are removing for this bracket, this one hopefully you can see, and this one that's on the bell housing. So we'll take those out, put our bracket in there, and bolt those down. The bracket does have those slots on it, so we can adjust the fitment. And yeah, so we'll try to get this bracket in, get these bolts out, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, so we're back in here. Obviously this is the mount here, or the well, the bracket with the new filter housing. And it's a very tight area to work in. Obviously you can see, well, I don't know if you'll be able to see very well, but the bracket connects up there, and then there's one right here on the back of the bell housing. It's a very tight squeeze to be able to work in this space. Basically, the whole time you're working in here to get the lines, you have to work between your subframe and your oil pan to stick your hand up here. And I had my left hand through just above my lower control arm to get my left hand up to work on the hoses as well. It's a very tight area, but I finally got it in. It's kind of a hard area to make sure that all of your lines are tight, unfortunately. So I'm planning on getting under here and checking periodically after the first startups and everything, just to make sure that I don't have any leaks, which if I do, it'll be kind of a pain, but it is what it is. It's something that you got to make sure that you're not leaking. Overall, well, let me get out of here, and I'll throw my new housing on here, or my new oil filter on here, and throw some oil in, and then I'll give you my thoughts on the kit. All right, so we just got finished filling the engine with oil, and I cycled the crank a little bit, just kind of get oil flowing. I didn't see any oil leaks when I was doing the cranking, and then I started it and I saw some oil dripping on the lower section, and that there's two hoses down. Obviously one of the hoses that I was struggling to get tightened is leaking, so I need to get under there, address it. I was under there just now kind of messing with it. I think I got it tightened, but I'm gonna double check and deal with that as I need to. But overall, the kit it's a good kit. Seems like great quality parts. Installing it with the engine in the car is kind of another thing. It's like, I mean, obviously the location of where the filter is to begin with is not ideal. And that's the entire reason that you're doing this relocation kit. At least that was my reasoning. Make maintenance just generally easier. So I knew that doing the work up here on the block was going to be kind of a pain to do because the intake's in the way and everything that I've gone through doing oil changes. However, I assumed that doing the lower section by the bell housing was going to be a little bit better. There's going to be a little more space. Not the case, really. Yes, there's a little more space, but there's not enough space to get a wrench in there and get everything tightened without removing parts. I mean, I probably could have taken off my lower control arm and gotten a little more space and stuff, but ideally, I think that this is meant to be installed with your engine on an engine stand, and it's definitely possible to do inside the engine bay. It's not ideal though. Definitely it's possible, like I said, but something to consider. It's not the easiest kit to do with everything installed and all that stuff. And then if you are adding your own oil cooler and all that stuff, going away from the factory oil cooler system on the 2J, then that's something else to consider also. But overall, it seems like a great kit. Once I get that tightened, I'll be super happy to be able to service the car easier. The oil filter is a much better spot than the factory location, so it'll be nice when that's not leaking. Something else. Oh, also, obviously, if you've seen this car, I have done the Granis T56 conversion from automatic, so it is definitely still possible if you had any doubts to do this oil filter relocation kit with a T56 from at least Granis' kit in there. So if that was ever a concern, it's not an issue. The only thing that you may have seen that I am dealing with is my automatic wiring harness that I have tucked away up there. I'm going to need to move that. Not need to, but I'm going to tidy that up a little more. I didn't think about that potentially being in the same vicinity as my oil filter is now. So luckily I can just cut my zip ties I have and tidy that up, tuck it away. But it's something to keep in mind. It is definitely possible to do this kit with a T56, Granis Racing, bell housing and all that stuff. At least the aluminum bell. So I would assume probably with the QuickTime also, but in my circumstance, aluminum bell, T56, PHR, oil filter relocation kit are compatible. So, anyways, it's enough ranting. I need to fix this leak, and then I'll be good to go. But yeah, I would just keep it in mind that it's not the easiest thing to install when everything is installed with your engine in the engine bay and everything is there. So keep it in mind if you're considering it. It's definitely still possible, but there is much frustration to to come across. So thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'm excited to have my maintenance be easier. Oh, one more thing. Obviously, you're adding lines to your oil system. You're increasing your capacity. Keep that in mind. It doesn't go that much. There's not that much that you're increasing, but it is a little bit more. So keep that in mind. All right. Anyways, take it easy. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching out. Bye.